Welcome back to the Grow Your Business series with Kim, Emily, and Malerie. This week, we are talking about a hot, uncomfortable topic: six-figure coaching, or better yet, the truth or reality about six-figure coaching. These girls are going to share their experience after working with me for good few years. I've been on a mission, or say have an intention, to leverage the playing field between the $1 million marketer and the healing focused entrepreneur because of this very topic, which is a lot of claims that get you to invest in a coach that uses the money that you paid them towards the claims that they are marketing and selling. And it feels terrible to watch so many people get manipulated and be on the other side of this. And the theme is, if you just invest a lot of money, then you are guaranteed to make 6 and 7 figures. And the last life coach event that I was listening to, that my mentor was putting on, I'm not proud to say this, but I watched in the audience people who were like, what they were doing to get their hands on this money, because they truly believed that their $5 million goal was going to be met by this investment. And it's hard to watch that when you know the reality. I was a 6-figure earner in that school my first year, but it didn't come because of that one training concept or coaching concept or anything to do with the marketing and coaching that happened in that container. It was my previous experience and ability to make 6 figures prior to that. As a massage therapist, as a yoga teacher, as a business owner, as having a ladies fitness gym, a hypnotherapist, like there were so many other components involved. Like I had 20 something years of experience and a warm market because I had worked with thousands of women up until that point. And yet I see over and over this theme of, if I can do it, you can do it too, which is true, with the same tools. So there are 7-figure coaches saying how they did it, but they are not saying that they did it, but they're not saying that they had resource and access to mentorship that the rest of the people didn't have. It wasn't even an opportunity. When I signed up for the $100,000, it was like a mentorship or a mastermind, I got rejected. So I made it on my own, but there were people that got in and learned things that the rest of the school didn't get. It's just different. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not a victim of it at all. It's matter of fact, I've invested. I can pull up my receipts. We can get Seth on here, my CPA. The last few months, I have over $300,000 invested in coaching, community, or building an organization. Most coaches don't have access to that. So how fair is it for me to say you could be a 7-figure earner when they don't have the same training and experience and tools and mastery that I have from my years of experience? So I'm going to open the floor for you two, because you've been with me the whole time. You have watched a lot of coaches come in believing that. You've watched them come in and think that they can grow their audience through our audience. You've seen all these things. So I want to just bring it to light to the coaching world, the coaching industry. And what has been your experience? We'll start with Emily.
I remember when I first got certified, like just a few months after, people were like, oh, what certification did you get? Have you made your money back? And like, that was always the first question. Like, are you having fun? Or seeing clients wasn't of interest. It was, have you made your investment back? Like that was going to be the determining factor of whether they chose to do coaching or a certification. Like, how fast can you make your investment back? And so that kind of put more pressure on me, especially from my husband. Like, you put that much money into something, you better see it come back immediately. And to me, I see it kind of like weight loss. Like, you see these fitness instructors who have like the perfect body, and they're like, if I can have this body, you can too. And you don't know their health history. You don't know if they've ever had a weight to lose. You don't know anything about their genetic makeup, but you're projecting your dream onto that. And you're thinking, oh, if I could just take this shake every day, I'll look like them. And it's not how it happens at all. I think I fell into that coming from that same life coaching realm of like, oh, success as a life coach means six figures as your minimum base goal. And then it's a million, which is a huge jump. Like it's a huge jump to make, you know, 40 or 50 grand a year and then go to six figures. And then it's an even bigger jump from six figures to a million, which seems impossible to me right now. So why would I think that I can make $1 million next year? It like freezes my brain. It freezes my nervous system to put that kind of money in my vision board. I'm like, okay, maybe in 10 years, but not in a year. How am I supposed to do that? But I totally believed that once I started coach training and told some people that by the end of being certified, I would be on track to earn six figures that year. Like I really did think that, but I had no clue what earning six figures meant. I didn't know how many clients that would mean or what actions I would need to take to attract that many clients. I had no clue like what marketing and selling would be like for me. So having that kind of dream set me up for a huge disappointment. Especially that year I was pregnant and having a baby. I didn't know what that would mean either. So now I see the behind the scenes, the work that actually goes into being a business owner. And I get frustrated seeing the people that are like, yeah, if you could do it, I could do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, but it takes a lot of actual work.
What's missing that you thought so we were in the same coaching community. We saw the $1 million possibilities, the $100 million goal and all of that stuff. And then you came into coach training, and what do you see now that what you thought then, and then what you know now? What are the other components? Were there other things that were missing to actually getting to six figures? Because the mind is like, sure, here's all the evidence. Here's all the Crystal Awards and the stage coaches. Everyone who goes there is doing it, not even seeing the thousands who are sitting in the audience who are not doing it. So speaking from who you are now and talking to who you were then, what would you say to yourself now that you know more about it?
I would say to create your goals like on a ladder, just like we do with ladder thoughts, like bridging your current beliefs to the next step and then the next step. Like, I don't want to say start small or don't dream too big. It's not having big dreams. It's setting up yourself to have the next step and the right action to take to get to that next step. It's not like stifling yourself. It's just like actually kind of being practical with what a dream like that actually entails. But I didn't know that, and I thought I did. So I was blocking myself from receiving anything that you were saying. Like, actually, this is what you need to do. I'm like, yeah, okay.
And now with your experience, because you've been part of eSchool for over a year now, and you see this over and over, like you consistently see it and see it online, right? So is it more in your awareness now that it was being said all along and you just couldn't receive it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I mean, looking back like at notes from coach training and being in like the mastermind group with you afterwards, seeing what you were saying, I'm like, oh, she's been saying this the whole time. I was not listening. I was writing it down in my notes. I wasn't listening and embodying it.
Do you think that's because the indoctrination from the stage coaches was so strong? Like that's all you saw, and that's what you were seeing was possible, but you didn't know you had missing pieces?
Yeah. So I was I was still trying to embody the coach training that you gave to us. Like that was so different from everything that I've learned. I didn't really integrate that into my personal work enough to be open to the actual work of being a business owner. And that's why I had to join Self Healing Masters first, because I was a new wife and a new mom, and like my nervous system was shot. I was sleep deprived. full of anxiety. I was crying to you, like, how am I going to be a 6-figure coach like this? And you're like, why are you trying to be a 6-figure coach? Like, that's silly. Like, why don't you try to have a client? Like, how can you open yourself up to be working at all? Like, that's my next step, was like to release the grip I had on being a perfect mom and being a perfect wife. And then I could actually send my kid to a babysitter and do some work. But I couldn't, my brain and my body was blocking me from hearing the practical steps that you were teaching us. Like, I could not receive it. So that's why I joined eSchool after a year and a half of self-healing masters.
Well, and it's
there.
One of the things I tell everyone is, why don't you be your first client? Like, why don't you literally do the work for yourself like, you can be the testimonial. You can be the testament for the work if you are doing it for yourself. But if you're out there trying to convince, which is what most coaches are doing, trying to convince someone else and find all the evidence, like, I have this client and I'm doing this and I'm doing, when they're actually not, that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. There will be no imposter syndrome when you are actually the candidate of your own work, especially of what you're selling. If you're not getting coaching, you're going to have a hard time selling coaching. You can't sell something that you don't believe in unless you don't have a conscious, right? And so when the mind's just focused on everyone else makes $100,000 as a coach, everyone at that school makes $100,000. It's not true. It's just that the marketing is highlighting those.
Right. That's what I saw. If I'm smart enough, I can figure this out. And so when I wasn't figuring it out, I was then making it, I'm wrong or bad or something, like my husband's wrong or bad. Like, I was trying to find something to blame it on instead of just doing the personal work to become the business owner. I couldn't see it at the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, last year I was so on this that I did not, I have all the little crystal awards for hitting the stage behind me for the years of, top earner. And I couldn't consciously go and participate and make it look like that it was that easy. Like, I didn't want to add to the numbers of that indoctrination and have that many more people judging. It was like, it was a conscious thing. I didn't understand it. I was like, why am I not going? I'm off. I have a reservation. Like, there's no reason I'm not going. And I realized I didn't want to be a participant in somewhat of a charade, because I did not get on that stage because of this one tool that this school sold. I got on that stage because I've been 20 something years in business, and I put clients over sales. And because I'm committed and I'm disciplined, and I understand business strategy and I understand marketing and the online world. And so it felt a bit, I don't know. I don't know if I was doing it to protect, or it just didn't feel right. But the whole time I was judging myself. Like, why am I punishing myself? I could be hanging out with the peers. I could be hanging out with, potential clients. I could be meeting more people. And I couldn't, my gut, I would not consciously do it. And it was so weird, and how I beat myself up about that. But I do think it had everything to do with this conversation we're having today. Malerie, what has been your experience? You've been in eSchool from the start, and you've also been a coach. You've been with me for a few years now. You've seen a lot of coaches coming into the container from other places and from ours. What's your experience that you would want to share with new coaches?
So while I actually trained with you as a coach in the same class as Emily, that's how I met Emily, I didn't go into it expecting that it was going to be a career for me. I went into it to get the training, to get the tools for myself, for my own personal growth. When I started, I had no intention of being a business owner. I was a physical therapist. I had a career. I had a job. That has all changed so much, but it took so much of me doing the work and then peeling back so many different layers that I could not see. Like, even during the coach training, I was hearing part of it, and it wasn't sinking in other words. So I'm a little bit different in that regard, but what I kept seeing, so after that, it was whenever I started working with you and then started seeing people who were coming in to the containers who were coaches through the same program. And I was really confused because They would say things, but not do it. And I didn't understand why. And this is why. And since I have transitioned into, okay, now I am a business owner, now I am responsible for, like, on a much higher level for doing my own work, it now is so clear to me why it's so important to be your own best client first. Because you might be able to fool yourself, but there's like this energy whenever you're talking to clients, they can feel that it's not real. It's not legit if you're not doing it. So that was my experience. It's the most important part of it is having the transformation for yourself and then being the example of that transformation that you offer. That's the most important part of being a coach who is the business owner who coaches other people. They can see that. They can feel it too. And they can feel if you're not doing it. And I think that's what's held so many people back. And that's why I think there's a lot of the angst with the people who are not making the money for all these different reasons. They went into coach training to make the money and didn't have the transformation. And that might be a big part of it too.
What I've seen for the most part is someone goes to like coach sessions or coach calls and they see the huge transformation in other people. And they're just like, because it's addictive, man. You're just like, oh my God, I want to do that. And instead of getting the coaching yourself and the transformation yourself, you think, oh, I just assume go all the way to get the coach training so I can get a return on investment instead of investing in yourself. So instead of them getting private coaching or getting like going into group, like more of let me be a candidate of receiving coaching. But because there's such a big thing about the return on investment that they instantly like, let me just do the coach training. Because if I learn how to be a coach, then I'll never have to pay a coach. That's probably the biggest error that I see is, and it boils down to worthiness. You not wanting to spend the money on yourself. You did that, Malerie. You came in for yourself. I remember that. You did not think you were moving into this direction. And you were like, I need help. I mean, I'm going from this lifestyle to this lifestyle, and I want to know how to do this. And we had quite a few coaches who did come in to do it for themselves. And it was the next step from like, they did personal coaching with me. And they were like, I want to understand this better. I want to master it, but not necessarily, I want to go and make $1 million or I want to go and make $500,000. And so I find those really embodied the process for themselves. But when someone comes in and sees that I'm successful and they're like, I'm going to learn what you do and I'm going to be successful just like you. And they're not willing to go through the process and the steps that I went through in order to become successful. And so they think just buying into success or buying into a certification, that's the biggest difference that I see, which is why I opened Self-Healing Masters. Because I was like, I have all of these coaches trained and now they love the work, but they don't have the resources to continue getting private coaching. And they want to do this as a business. And it's probably going to take 3 to 4 years for them to master it in order to actually sell it to someone else. And so let me open this up. I'm going to give all, y'all know that I offered every person that I trained as a coach to come in as a flat rate. You'll never have to pay again, and you're here for life. And this is what it's going to cost. And I suggest you jump on it because it's never going to be this again, which it hasn't. But this is going to eventually turn into a back-end offer where you can continue getting coaching as the business owner. This is not like you can watch me coach, you can learn more about coaching, but you have to be able to receive coaching for yourself. That's the whole reason that we opened that container up. To really understand the mind-body connection, what's happening, like Emily was talking about the nervous system. When you make the decision to be an entrepreneur, to go into business for yourself, your nervous system, your neurology is going to be activated because you're doing something completely different. You're at risk of shame and failure. People talking about you, they will throw tomatoes at you. They will hit you in the back of the head with a tomato or a potato or a sledgehammer. They will. Very, like it happens because they don't want to face their own reality. They don't want to face where they're not doing things. So they have to blame the leader. They have to blame the coach. They have to blame the parent, the person that's trying to help them be different because they can't look at the mirror and blame themselves because they're not doing their own work. So it's so important for coaches to be getting coaching. and to master your craft, your skill set. A certification is a piece of paper. If you want to truly help people transform their lives, change their health, wealth, and relationships, and you haven't done it for yourself, how the hell are you going to help someone else do it because you have a tool? I can have a hammer, but if I've never built anything, I'm not going to know where to start. Like, I don't even know I need a piece of wood or a nail, or what do I do with this thing, right? Walk around just blaming people. That's what they'll do, And so I'm heated about it because I have paid into a lot of high dollar coaching that was bullshit. Like $1 million coaches telling me they can help me scale my business, who reached $1 million one time because they were on the right podcast or because they had high dollar coaching, or they reached it one time. I never, guys, asked to see their finances. How often have you made $100,000? How many people have you helped make $100,000? I have proof that I can help people make $5,000 a month. That I have proof over and over and over and over again. And then we get them to 60,000 to 6 figures. There is a path to it. I call it 5K on replay. That is more than go look up medium household income. It's more than most people make. It's $24,000 to $27,000 in Louisiana, every household, because they're averaging out the people who don't work and the people who do work. So when I have massage therapists making $50,000, I'm freaking excited. Do I think they need to go to $5 million? Come on. Do you see what I'm saying? It's so, but it's just like pushed and pushed and pushed and advertised and market. It's false advertising on one level because they're not giving the backstory. Like, yeah, they were a doctor and a lawyer and they grew up in $1 million household or house. And so it's normal to them. But for someone, their family never made more than $50,000 and they've never made $50,000 in their previous career, totally different ballgame. And it is unfair. And I want to speak up about it because I see coaches investing over and beyond what they even have saved for retirement, investing where they should be buying a new vehicle or remodeling their home, or like because someone is telling them how easy it is and then not giving them the steps. I don't have a problem with the investing over and beyond. I've done it. I've invested more than I've paid for a house. Like, I've done it and I've gotten it back because I knew the how. I knew the how. And that's what we're doing in eSchool. We want to teach you the how. Quit buying the stupid, famous, liar, fucking $6 and $7 million coaching bullshit and get the actual steps on how to do it. Quit buying that stupid shit. It makes me so mad because by the time they come, they're $20,000, $25,000 invested in the famous notoriety marketers. It's so painful for us to watch you not have $5,000 because you spent $50,000 on some bullshit.
It's
I
like
should
the
mute
law of
myself.
attraction. Yes. It's like the law of attraction where we think saying these words in the mirror every day is my ticket to being, 50 pounds lighter or have a husband. It's not the investment of the words or investment of the money. It's what you are actually believing and then doing to make those dreams happen. We keep missing that part. We keep thinking, okay, if I just write a check to myself, then okay, it's going to come back to me, just like Jim Carrey's story. Like, we love that. It's so inspirational, but we didn't see what Jim Carrey actually had to go do to become that kind of earner as an actor. But we use those stories to inspire us and make us feel good about our dreams. But we have to believe it. It's actually true. That's why I kept talking about it with the vision board workshop. Like, don't put pictures on your vision board that you actually don't believe are going to happen for you. Like, if you're not ready to put a huge mansion on your vision board because you live in a trailer right now, like, why don't you go to the next step? Like, what can you see happening in the next year? Like, let's make that the actual goal. And then the next year, add on to it. But if you haven't seen the law of attraction, anyone watching, we can put that in there too, because I think that's a huge piece of this, because we think writing the check to the certification is the words that we're supposed to say that'll magically make the genie give us our wish come true. It's just not happening. Sorry.
Yeah, the easy button does not exist for building a business. It's not even just having the business foundation and structure and framework and all the marketing and all that stuff that has to happen, but there's a lot of personal development that has to happen before you ever get there. And that was for sure missing in me, that I've had to like grow into that. And it's hard. And people don't like, it's one thing to say to other people, like it's going to require you to do these things and it's going to feel really terrible, but it's a whole other experiencing it is way different. And I'm really glad that we have a container where we can talk about that, because that's real. That's real life.
And this isn't to like talk you out of like starting your own business or becoming a coach, because it is a beautiful experience when you're open and ready to receive it and to grow. But it's like, it's hard to start a business, but it's also hard to stay in a job that you hate for years, hoping someday you can retire and get something out of it. So from my perspective, I would never not put myself through what I've been through to get to this point of understanding.
Yeah. And where there is high emotion, there is low intelligence. Why I'm saying, let me mute myself, because I'm so triggered. I'm honestly triggered because I see the pain of them not realize, like buying the dream and not realizing the process. Like I hate that you guys don't know that. When someone comes in and I say this is like a 4-year college degree. You've got to develop yourself personally. You've got to curate your message. You've got to learn how to market yourself and become a promoter. And then you need strategy, structure, and brand. There's a lot of components. Back in the day, it's almost unfair today, because you guys can just get a bottle of lavender and say, I have a business, I sell essential oils. Whereas back in 1997, I had to go to get an occupational license. I had to put electricity. I had to get a phone. I had to buy a building or pay rent or sign a lease. Like it required monetary investment and commitment for years. Like I got fiber internet here, and it's a 5-year contract, $300 a month. Whereas that one bottle of essential oil, they're like, I'm in business. And then they don't order their minimum $100 order the following month. So there's less required to be in business. And I think that's why there's so much pain. And I really do want to help more business owners understand this. That's why we have the 4 stages of business. First being the amateur, and you can still make money as an amateur. It's not a bad word. And then being the solopreneur who trades off some things. And then being the solopreneur who's just really clean. This is what I offer. This is what I do. You know exactly what it is. And then the entrepreneur is someone who creates something outside of themselves that can survive. If I die, my programs can live on. There's documentation, there's people trained, there's a team, there's an organization, there's systems. But a lot went into that, and years of investment and heartache and sweat and hurt and misconceptions. Like that I was misinformed. I had a lot of misinformation, and I paid $25,000, $30,000 coaches who just added that to their $1 million repertoire and then went sell it and showed my dollars on their screen and didn't help me and couldn't look into my business, because this is so important. They actually had less business experience than I did. They had the popularity. They had the notoriety. They got on the right stages. They had the right person recognize them. They had the right mic in their hand. And so more people knew them, or they knew how to do Facebook ads back in the day when Facebook ads had a huge turnaround and got themselves into a huge pool of people. It is not like that anymore. You don't have to go and rent a space for 5 years. And you don't have a 4-to-1 cash return on Facebook ads anymore. Everything has changed. And what I told one of my coaches, his $1 million can help you, scale your business to $1 million, was him getting on someone's podcast, cleaning it up, getting a referral system going, got the $1 million. I was like, so what are you going to do for me, who has not gotten on someone else's stage, and my message is completely different, and I'm not collaborating with someone else who can refer, and I actually have a bucket and a shovel, and I'm behind the bleachers digging up worms. Like, I'm okay doing it, but I just gave you $20,000. How are you going to help me do that? Never an answer. You know, it was so annoying to have so much talent, which I know a lot of you listening have a lot of talent. You have the desire to serve, you have the passion to help, and you're healing focused, you're heart centered, you're service based, but you're missing a lot of these pieces. And that omnipresent, like you've got to be on every platform. You've got to use social media. You got to learn how to sell and close and market. There's a lot of components that you don't know about, and you're investing in the wrong thing. So just investing in mindset's not going to work. You need mindset with strategy, with structure, with branding, with systems, with tech. That's what we do in eSchool. It sounds like a pitch, and maybe it is, because it's affordable and it's helpful, but it's the real practical hard shit that you're going to have to do. So it doesn't look as beautiful as all of these crystals on the stage with their beautiful purses and poodles. And don't touch me. I can't help you. I'm much better than that. I'm untouchable. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Why are you into helping people if you don't like people?
Somebody is triggered.
Triggered again. I need to mute again. I'm going to stop now and let Joe do this. We might have to do some editing on this video after we share it.
I think it's good because this is what we talk about. This is the real deal. And like, we love eSchool for everything that it is, but they're like, it's still not the ticket. You still have to do the work. Like just saying, I'm going to join eSchool and I'm going to get all my money back. That's great. Now here's what you actually have to do. And if you follow the steps that we tell you and you work with us, then you will make the money back because we have proven that. But there will be people that join who will expect it to be a magical answer, and it won't. And so even our programs do not do magic on their own.
Agreed.
Well,
and some think that they're going to come and join because we have an audience and they're going to pick up clients for the audience. Like I get that too, because that's what's happening in a lot of communities, which is why there are so many people on those stages, because they are being referred by the community owner or whatever, because that's a part of their game plan. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with the He coach that I did. It was, let me bring people in, let me help them, and then let me highlight them. We do that on our social media when the client does it. Like they're sharing, they're doing the work. So it's almost like a reward, like great sharing, getting it out there. And then we put it on our eSchool page or Instagram. And I think that's to highlight that our clients are actually doing the work, even though they're nervous, even though it's hard, even though it's uncomfortable, they think they're going to die. like if you guys don't know about the challenge coming up next week, like you really want to get this for $47. It's how to craft your pitch and actually put it on social media. And then Emily is going to do professional branding for your pitch. So it'll be the cover for the video and for your Facebook post and what you're going to use in order to tell the world what you do in a professional way. It really does matter. Did you want to add, Malerie, before we end?
Well, I was going to say, I think I mean, you having the passion and the like being triggered by what you were seeing, that's what led to eSchool. That's what started it all in the first place, because like, actually, hey, these people are getting screwed over. I actually can help them. And that's what we're doing. That's like why I have a job now. And I'm glad that happened. We do have clients that they do come in and make their return on investment in their first month of eSchool. And we make it clear that they did that and they already had a business set up. They weren't brand new out the gates, never had a business before, never had a client in their life. Some of them were set up. They just needed some tweaks that we were able to help them with. And then they were able to go.
We actually do have someone who made $2,000 last month. It was her very first time to announce what she does. We have both. What I was going to say is eSchool came from, I paid someone $2,000 to hook up my tech because I was having so much online drama and I didn't understand all the computer online stuff. I'm over 50 years old. It is harder for us because we didn't have computers growing up. And so I hired someone who told me, she's like, listen, I'm going to do all of that so you can just go serve people. You'll have more time to do what you love. I'm going to read your book. I'm going to help you with your copy and how to present yourself. And I'm going to hook up all of your back end. Man, amazing. I cleared a credit card like I was sweating in the parking lot outside to give her $2,000 to go and hook up my scheduler and my email, like my online connection stuff. And she sent me a PDF of how to fucking do it myself. My last $2,000, I was at wit's end. I was already $61,000 invested in coaching. I was like, and then she turns around and goes do mindset coaching with her, make over $50,000 a year. Bullshit. Same thing I'm talking about. She did not give me what I paid for. And she did not give my money back whenever she changed her mind. And she sent me a stupid, you don't think I can get that for free online? It's that kind of thing. That's what started eSchool. I was like, if I need it, other people need it. And if there's people like that out there, we're going to create something where Malerie actually helps you do it. And if you prefer her doing it for you, we have that option too. So yeah, I've created the things from my frustration, from my not being able to get help whenever I needed to heal my body. And I had to figure it out through certifying myself, through programs, through whatever, hypnotizing myself, whatever I had to do to heal my physical body, to heal my relationships, my marriage, what was going on with my kids, what was going on with, I didn't know how to work with people. I didn't know how to lead. I didn't know how to run multiple businesses by myself. I had to learn all of this it was hard. It was hard until I figured out the system and the way and found the right people who also wanted to help. And you guys know this is a discipline. It is a commitment. This is not a 9 to 5. This is not let me just clock in. No, you guys want personal freedom? You want financial freedom? It is way different. And we got to retrain your brain. We got to retrain your nervous system and your body to be able to do some of the things that are really, really scary. So yes, I did create this from my own pain and suffering. And I'm still triggered and mad because they still have my money and never served me for what they sold me.
Thank you for putting all of that passion
So
and
eloquently.
passion and being pissed off into one to create this stuff for people like us who didn't have the 27 years of business experience. I thought because I grew up in a family business that I was somehow primed to be a business owner, which I think like I do have that experience of serving customers since I was 12 years old. I have that customer service like built into me. I can't possibly take someone's money and not give them more than what they ask for. Like that is ingrained in me, but I didn't know like the sales and marketing know-how to actually get the clients to serve them. I was like, if someone could just give me some people, then I will serve the hell out of them. And I thought, by just putting my website out there that people would be like, oh, Emily, I love her. I'd love to be her client. And then they would just sign up. But that's not how it happens. So I think if you're in that same spot and you're like thousands of dollars invested in programs and technology that isn't working, there's probably stuff that you need to know about actually marketing and promoting yourself that's missing. And that's definitely what I've learned over the past couple of years.
Yep. So thank you for teaching all of that to
Yeah.
me.
Are
Because
you trying to calm me down?
Yeah.
No, I'm like hearing all that. It's like, it's a reminder. It's like, thank you for giving me this opportunity because I was looking for more and I didn't know what more meant. And now it's like, not only do I see a path and a vision, there's no limit.
Yeah. I get even triggered by people who say they're business owners and healers. And then when I ask their income, they haven't worked with people. It's deceptive. I don't want to work with someone who hasn't mastered their craft, who hasn't go and work with people until you get really good at what you do so you can come clean on what you promise. I've had so many healing focused like practitioners that weren't legitimately in business. They weren't committed. They weren't like dialed in. They weren't disciplined. And I think it's unfair that our market has that. Like I want to help the massage therapists succeed and their clients to get results. I want to help the coach be a better coach and learn business so that you can create a sustainable, predictable, and profitable business. You don't have those threes, guys, you are not in business. You're never going to scale. You're never going to get to 6 figures. You have to have the understanding of how to get there. And the same thing, there's hypnotherapists walking around here with the greatest tool in the world to help people heal on a subconscious level, and they have no business training. We have yoga teachers, health and wellness practitioners, health coaches that don't understand sales and marketing and systems and processes on how to get the message to the client so that they can help them. I don't know what else to do with my time and energy. I don't. If I don't figure this out and help other people figure this out, like how do we clean up the market so that people do trust again? That's our job. That's our responsibility. It's like expecting your kid to be a good kid, and then you just send them to school and then to work and then and you never help them become a better person. Like, I want to take responsibility for that part that I can play in the business world because of the luxury that I had to be able to be a business owner for 27 years. That is a luxury that I was able to do this in 1997 in front of a crawfish lake with a hayfield behind me. You realize that's such a small percentage of people, first of all, in Louisiana, in a rural area, that puts a building and learns how to make 6 figures and 7 figures. Like, seriously, I have to put myself in perspective sometimes.
I agree with you.
All right. If anyone is listening and I haven't scared you away, come to the More Than Mindset Facebook group. I'm actually going there live today. We're going to talk about what you need to know as a business owner in order to get more clients, have more money, help more people, because those things are required. If you're in business and you're not doing that, I don't know what you're doing. Just got a pretty little profile. I'm going to be talking about that in the More Than Mindset Facebook group. It is a free group, and you got to check out the challenge. Can somebody put the link for the Pitch Perfect challenge? This is going to help you get clear on your if you don't have this part done, you're never going to get out the door. You've got to get clear on who you serve, what is their problem, how do you help them, and how do you present your offer. It's $47. Thursday, I'm going to teach you the actual steps to it. Friday, you're going to put it out there and you'll have a chance to win, to have yours professionally branded. The winner will get that. It's going to challenge you. It's going to be uncomfortable, I promise you. But it's totally worth the $47 and the sweat and maybe even bellyache. And we had the business liftoff coming again. We've got Belief Bootcamp online. We've got so many things coming up this month. You guys want to come into the More Than Mindset group to keep up with the dates. All right, friends. Do you have anything to add, or do I just need to go tap some of this stuff out?
Go shake it off. Thanks for watching.